Hey CAF members, Saul Brown here, FSI in the National Capital Region. Before we start today's virtual workout, please read this full disclaimer. Here's a list of equipment that you're going to need for the 45-minute workout today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Hey team, thanks for joining me today for the 45-minute mobility workout. So what we're going to focus on today is we're going to be focusing on ankle mobility and hip mobility. This is going to help improve our squat, and a squat is something that we do every single day, even if we're not doing it consciously, right? Like sitting down and then standing back up again, that's a squat position. We bend down to pick up after our dog, that's a squat position, right? This is so functional that it's really important that we work on our ankle and hip mobility just to be able to go through life with little to no pain, right? So the first thing that we're going to be looking at in ankle mobility is the dorsiflexion in our ankle, okay? If you're lacking dorsiflexion in your ankle, which is when your toes are back towards your shins, then there's a good chance that you have trouble getting down into a squat and that you're overcompensating by leaning way far forward in your squat, etc., etc. So we're going to work on a couple of exercises. We're going to test our dorsiflexion. Then what we're going to do is we're going to intervene, and then we're going to retest a couple of times. I have 3 ways of intervening here, and hopefully we're going to be able to, when we retest, see an improvement in the dorsiflexion in your ankle. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with, I want you to find a wall, or I have a plyo box here if you have something like that, or you could even do it against your couch. I'm going to go into a half kneeling position. I'm going to stick my hand in a fist and with a thumb up. I'm going to put that thumb against the wall, and then I'm going to put my toes against my pinky finger. From there, I'm going to be leaning my knee towards the wall or towards the object that I'm pushing my knee against. This exercise is called knee to wall, or this testing is called knee to wall. So as you can see, my knee's not quite there. If you want to move your foot a little bit closer, like for example, just your fist and your knuckle, just so that mentally you're going to be like, okay, I can almost make it to the wall, that's okay. But eventually I want you to make it a little bit more challenging for yourself and go a full thumbs up away from the wall, and then try and get that knee to wall. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to lean there for 5 seconds. Okay, we're going to lean in for 5 reps, and I just want you to try and push that knee towards the wall without lifting your heel off the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's switch sides and let's test on the other side. So again, I want you to put that thumbs up against the wall, toes against the pinky finger, and let's lean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my dorsiflexion is a little bit better on my left than my right. So that might be something I want to keep an eye on. Now, how are we going to intervene? So how are we going to improve this? We're going to do 2 exercises, and then we're going to take a look at that again. Okay, so the first exercise is going to be called a down dog march. So we're going to be in a downward facing dog position, and already when you get into this position with your long spine and your tailbone into the sky, you're going to notice a stretch in your calves. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to bend one knee so that all of the pressure is now on the leg that is straight. Then we're going to switch back and forth for 10. 1, 2, 3. Drive that heel into the floor. 5, 6, 7. Tailbone high. 9, 10, and relax. We're going to go one more time for the down dog march. And this time I want you to really focus on driving that tailbone into the sky, keeping a nice long spine so that there's no chance that you're not fully stretching that calf, okay? So tailbone into the sky, long spine. I'm pretty flexible in this sense, so my heels are already on the floor, but if your heels are up this way, then that's okay. All I want you to do is I want you to bend the knee so that more pressure goes onto the one calf, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you're going a little bit slower than me, or even a little bit faster than me, that's okay. I just want you to be comfortable, obviously, because when we're talking about mobility, it's all about functional movement, and functional movement is the way that your body moves, okay? The next test that we're gonna do, I'm gonna get you to grab a weight if you have one. If you do not have a weight, that's okay. You can simply use pressure from your hands, okay? I'm gonna go back into that half kneeling position, but I'm gonna do it away from the wall because I don't want to, mentally, I don't want to have the goal of getting my knee to the wall. I just want to have the focus on the downward pressure on the top of my knee and then the dorsiflexion of my ankle. I don't want to worry too much about getting my knee to the wall right now. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to say is that we're going to put a weight. I have a kettlebell here. I'm just going to put it on top of my knee. It doesn't have to be anything too heavy. If you have plates at home too, you can put a plate. I'm talking about a lifting plate, not a dinner plate. Okay. So you're gonna hold that kettlebell on your knee and then you're simply gonna rock forward and back. And then I would suggest holding for 2 to 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then back. And what we're doing here is we're just working on stretching that calf muscle and the soleus muscle underneath your calf. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce a band, okay? Now again, if you don't have a band, that's okay. You don't need a band for this. But the band is gonna help so that you're not gonna be, it's gonna help pull back a little bit so that you're not gonna be overcompensating with any other muscles, okay? It's gonna add a little bit of tension, okay? So I want you to have that band right in the middle of your ankle crease, all right? And then we're going to be, again, knee forward, over your toes and back. 2, 3, keep that heel down on the floor. 4, 5, and then let's switch sides now. So I'm gonna just safely put my weight down and switch legs. So I'm gonna put that band back. That way it's putting a little bit of pressure to work on my dorsiflexion here. Weight on the knee, and let's go. 1, and back. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. All right, so now that we've done the down dog march and the weight on knee, you can do that with a dumbbell. Like I said, if you only have the band, then you can wrap the band around and then you can just put pressure with your hand this way. Okay, now that we've done that, let's retest. Let's go back to the wall or the plyo box in my case, and let's retest that. So I'm gonna be on my knuckles here with my thumb against the wall. I'm gonna put my toes against my pinky finger, and now I'm gonna retest the knee to wall. So I'm gonna do this 5 times, and hopefully it's changed a little bit. I've been able to get a little bit closer to the wall. 1, oh my goodness, I'm touching the wall. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's switch sides and take this nice and slow. There's no rush here. Okay, so thumb against the wall, toes against the pinky finger, and now let's go knee to wall. 1. Try to keep that heel on the floor. 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Okay, very good. Now, if you saw some improvement, but you're not quite there yet, that's okay, because I have another way of intervening to try and increase the dorsiflexion a little bit further, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a front foot elevated lunge. You can do this on a bench, on a box like I'm doing. You can do this on the couch even. Make sure that it's something that's stable enough that you're not gonna be worried about it tipping backwards while you're doing this. Okay, and I'm gonna put the box on its side. Can I do the knee to wall test here? Yes, I can. So I'm just gonna leave my box like this now. All right, so I'm gonna grab my weight. I'm gonna put it up on top of the box for when I'm ready for it. Okay, now this time we're going to do an elevated front leg lunge, and what that's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to target the soleus muscle. It's a muscle that's not really commonly worked on, right? So you have the gastroc, or the calf, that is really a lot of people know about, and then there's the soleus underneath, and if we ignore that, then that's going to really affect our ability for dorsiflexion. I know I'm using that word a lot, but that's what we're trying to improve here, so let's go. All right, so heel down. We don't have the band this time. I don't want the band this time because that's going to put pressure backwards. I want to keep it safe here. Okay, so push your knee, your heel down into the box. Okay, I'm going to bring the weight and I'm going to put it on my knee again. And again, I'm simply going to, because it's in the elevated position, you're really going to feel it underneath. And I'm just going to lean forward. Don't worry about bending your back knee or anything like that. I'm just going to lean forward. 1 and 2. 3, think about driving that knee forward over your toes. 4, 5. So this is going to be a little bit more of a subtle stretch. It's not going to be as obvious as when we were doing the down dog stretch. Yeah, you can really feel a stretch in those calves. Okay, so heel on the box, weight on the knee, get into a comfortable position, and then let's rock forward and back 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And any of these stretches that we're doing, any of these movements that we're doing, you can definitely try this like holding 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back. Okay? The reason I'm doing more of a dynamic thing is because I'm not necessarily wanting to stretch our muscles out to the point when we're not going to be able to kind of use them for the rest of the day. We have a little workout piece to do at the end, so I'm just trying to get those muscles moving and being able to function still. All right, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to go into a deep squat, and it's called a goblet squat with a rock. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit on an angle. Okay, and I'm going to get down to a goblet squat, meaning normally that I'd have the kettlebell in my hand, but I'm just going to demonstrate first. Okay, if you need to have your feet a little bit wider than your hips and shoulders, that's okay, but I just want you to be below 90 degrees if possible. If you're still up here, that's okay, but what I want you to do here is I want you to spread your knees apart. I want you to put your elbows just in that knee crease there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to be rocking side to side and forward and back slightly. Okay, so I'm going to get down into a deep squat. I'm going to grab my kettlebell for a little bit of weight. I'm going to put my elbows on top of my knees, and then I'm simply going to rock forward and back. And this forward and back rock is so slight. You're going to feel the front of your ankle into your shin. Those muscles are going to be firing when you do this, and this is so slight. I don't want you falling back or forwards, so super slight, the goblet squat rock. And back and forth. Just like that. Because the more we develop the muscles in the front of our ankle, the more they're going to be able to help your dorsiflexion when you're trying to go into it, right? Because when they're used to flexing, then you'll be able to go into flexion easier. Okay, always trying to mimic that knee to wall. Okay, now let's just go side to side a little bit, just to kind of give our ankle a little bit of a different motion. And then we're going to go back to that goblet squat rock, forward and back. I'm moving side to side. And then again, forward and back. Your heels should definitely not be coming off the floor. And relax. So I'm going to place that weight down on the floor, and guess what time it is? It's time to retest that knee to wall. Whenever we're talking about mobility, we have to think of why are we doing this. So today, the why is to improve our squat position for our functional movement, right? Then you have to do something to intervene with whatever you're trying to accomplish, and then you got to retest it to make sure that's actually making a difference, because if it's not, we got to do something else, right? So thumbs up against the wall. Toes right at the pinky. And we're gonna go forward and back 5 times. 1. Try to keep that heel in the floor. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Good, let's switch sides. And again, if you wanna hold it, if you just wanna hold it for a couple of seconds, instead of doing the rapid fire like me, do it, okay? 1. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Awesome. So that's the first segment talking about dorsiflexion in the ankle, and I hope that in some capacity you've improved your distance to the wall. And again, how is this going to help? It's going to help so that if you have a little bit more dorsiflexion in your ankles, then you're going to be able to help folding forward, whereas if your shins stay parallel with the wall in front of you, then you're going to have to overcompensate by counterbalancing with leaning forward, etc., okay? And a whole bunch of other problems. So the knees being able to bend forward slightly as you're doing your squat is going to help you as you go into your squat position. All right, now let's talk about hip mobility, because this is another thing that, again, if you can't get past that 90-degree threshold, then it's going to help get you there, past that 90 degree. Now we don't need any weights or bands for this one. We're just going to sit on the floor and we're going to do a 90-90 stretch. This 90-90 stretch is the test, okay? So we're going to test out our hip mobility with a little bit of internal and external rotation of our hip, okay? So from here, my feet are just outside the hips, and I'm just going to let my knees fall from one side to the other. Now, you may find that even no matter how much you push that knee to the floor, it's just not wanting to go. That's what we're going to be testing here today. That's what we're going to be trying to improve on today, that is. Okay, so I'm rotating. I'm bringing my knee as close to the floor as possible, and then my outside knee again to the floor as well. I'm just relaxing on my hands, and I'm just going back and forth. I'm not really counting. I'm just going to let us do this for another 10 seconds or so, and just to get ourselves ready for the exercises that we're about to do. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you to choose one of the sides that we are falling to. Okay, so I'm going to choose the left side first, my left side. Now I'm going to make sure that maybe when I was doing the windshield wiper motion, my foot was a little bit closer to my knee than I want, so I want each knee to be 90 degrees, okay? 90 degrees in front of me, 90 degrees beside me. I'm going to put one hand on my foot, I should say, and my chest I want over my shin if possible. If we're a little bit off, that's okay, but I want my chest over my shin ideally, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to start performing some body waves. I'm just going to go for 10, but you can go for as long as you need to in order to feel comfortable in this position. Shallow or deep, doesn't matter, okay? So we're going to go chin towards the floor, and we're going to open that chest, and we're going to round the back, chin to chest, and then up. Okay, and I just want you to think that you are the tide coming in and then going out. Not to sound too philosophical here. Sound of the waves coming in and rolling out. Okay, if you're simply going kind of faster, shallower waves, that's totally okay as well. Okay, I think that I'm around 10 reps in here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to adjust. I may move my hand a little bit closer to my knee. I'm simply going to adjust where my head is. So instead of my head being over my shin, now I'm going to adjust. I'm going to rotate my shoulders so that my head is now over my toe. And then again, same thing. In this particular stretch, I am not super mobile, so I'm going to do more of a shallow wave. But if you can really dip down and get your forehead close to your foot, that's ideally what we want here. Okay, try to work towards that deep body wave. In through the nose, out through the mouth. When we're doing this stuff, guys, your muscles are so tense if you don't breathe. So just breathe in. And then as you exhale, try and just relax into that stretch. Okay, team, now it's time to do a little bit of scanning, okay? So from your knee to your toe, I want you to check for any problem areas. So get your chest as low to your shin as possible, and then I simply want you to scan back, chin over the knee, and forth, chin over the foot. Back and forth. And you can turn your head to the back and turn your head to the front to help with your direction. If I'm going back, turning my head back is obviously going to help me get a little bit further. Turning my head towards the front is going to help me get a little bit further. Okay, so I'm rotating my head and I'm scanning. Now, what are we scanning for? We're scanning for, like, if I scan past and feel a little bit of a sharp pain or discomfort, then all I'm going to do is I'm going to stay over that discomfort area, that area of discomfort, I should say, and then I'm just going to do a couple of body waves just to ease that discomfort. Then once it becomes maybe just a slight discomfort, or once it disappears, then you can continue scanning back and forth. So I'll go for another 15, 20 seconds just to give you the opportunity to check that out if you need to, or to roll that out if you need to. Rolling back and forth and back. Okay, and rolling if you need to. Just a body wave. Chin comes forward, chin to chest, just like that. Okay, good. Last thing that we're gonna do before we switch sides and then we retest is getting down onto our elbow, onto our back elbow. I'm gonna go a little bit more on an angle here, still keeping my knees at 90 degrees. Didn't mean to rhyme, but I'm glad it did. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach our thumb towards the back. You're gonna feel a little bit of opening in your chest here as well. So your thumb is reaching towards the back. You're feeling an opening in your chest. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach underneath, we're gonna dive down, and we're gonna put our palm on the floor underneath our rib cage, and you're gonna feel a little bit of twisting in your spine as well. Your hips and your spine are a lot more related than you think. Let's go up again, reach back, and as we exhale, come down. Synchronize the breath with the movement. Again. And one more time. All right, let's go. Let's keep our chest as close to the floor as we can. We'll go back over our shin, grab onto our foot, and now roll up for one last body wave. Okay, let's switch sides. I'm just gonna do the old switcheroo. I'm gonna go from one glute, one butt cheek, to the other, just like that, okay? 90 degrees in front, 90 degrees on the side, grabbing my foot, hand beside my knee, and now I want to do a body wave over my shin. Okay, so I'm just working the same exact exercise, the same exact intervention, but on this side. All right, time's up for the shin. Now I want you to readjust so that now you're going to be going over your, oh, sorry, wrong direction, over your toes. All right? So this side's a little bit tighter. This is my dominant side. So this is the side. I'm a martial artist. I do a lot of kicking with this leg. I do a lot of, like if I'm in a stance or something like that, it's usually this leg forward. So this one gets a lot more tension in the glutes and hip area. So if you're the same, not necessarily that you're a martial artist, but let's say you're a rower on those standing paddle boards and you always have one leg in front and one hip is always getting all the tension, then this would be the reason for a little bit more tightness on one side than the other. Could be from injury maybe, that you're overcompensating for a long time and then it builds up the pressure. That's why this stuff is so important, so that we test both sides. All right, let's go to a scanning now, team. So we're gonna scan from toe to knee. From toe to knee. And you know what? I feel a little bit of discomfort about 3/4 of the way to my toe. So I'm gonna do a couple body waves here until that discomfort disappears. Okay, and that seems to have subsided. So now I'm gonna go side to side, looking forward and back. Just keep rotating. And relax. Okay, now I'm going to get down onto my elbow. I'm going to open up my chest. And as I exhale, I'm going to dive underneath, palm to the floor, under my ribs. Again, underneath, over top, I should say. And then underneath, palm to the floor. And one last time, inhale. And palm to the floor. Let's do one more time, because I feel like we did one more time on the other side. Nice work. All right, everyone. Now, keeping that chest nice and close to the floor, coming back over our shin, and now doing one last body wave. It's time to retest. Okay, if you don't feel a change here, then you may need to seek a little bit more of this type of mobility, okay? Check this out. Put your feet, don't do it until we do it together, okay? Put your feet outside your hips, and now all I want you to do is I just want you to drive your knees to the floor. Oh my goodness. I don't know about you guys, but all the tension that I was feeling on my inner groin area disappeared. My knees basically falling to the ground, and I'm not feeling any tension going either way. If you're still feeling a little bit of tension, then hopefully you're feeling less tension, so you've become a little bit more mobile in this sense. All right, excellent. Now, normally I have trouble sitting cross-legged. This is another test for me personally. Normally I have a lot of time sitting cross-legged because I do a lot of abduction, where I kick out to the side. As I told you, I'm a martial artist. So this usually is difficult for me, but since we just did all these mobility exercises, very easy. And this is, again, another example of a functional movement that these mobility exercises can help. Just sitting down cross-legged is difficult for me normally. Doing these exercises makes me able to sit with my legs crossed. All right, so while I'm sitting here, I'm going to explain the workout that we're going to be finishing off with. It's going to be a 12-minute EMOM. EMOM stands for every minute on the minute, and we're going to be doing a different exercise, 3 different exercises, in a cycle, and we're going to be doing 4 rounds. All right, so for 1 minute, we're going to be doing a prayer squat to bootstrapper. I'll demonstrate. The second minute is going to be the world's greatest stretch. And then the third minute is going to be something called a disassociation plank, which is going to work on the spine and hip rotation and disassociation, so a little bit of coordination in there for you as well. All right, so the first movement that we're going to be doing 4 times is going to be the prayer squat to bootstrapper. So prayer squat, hands are going to be, you can start with your hands overhead actually, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put our feet under our hips or our shoulders, depending again on your mobility. I'm going to send my hips back. I'm going to push my knees out as I sink down. As I'm at the bottom of my squat, I'm going to bring my hands together into a prayer position. I'm going to come inside my knees and then flatten my palms together. And as you do that, you're going to notice your knees are going to push out slightly. It doesn't have to be a lot. I'm going to grab onto my toes. I'm going to straighten my lower body. And then from there, I'm going to roll up to a standing position once again. And then I'm just going to repeat that motion for 1 minute. Okay, it doesn't have to be fast. The second movement is going to be called the world's greatest stretch. I'll demonstrate that from the side. From a plank position, you're simply going to bring your knee to your shoulder or as high as you can get your knee. Put your knee to the floor, okay? I don't want you working too hard here because this is more of a mobility exercise. It's not like meant to be super hard, okay, and intense. Stack all of your bones, again, so that you don't have to work too hard, and reach high. I'm feeling a stretch on my outer glute here. And then I'm going to come back and step back. And then I'm going to bring my knee forward, rotate my hands so I can stack all of my weight on my bones here, and reach for the ceiling. Okay, now something I forgot to do on the other side was bring my elbow down inside my instep of my foot. Once I've done that, then I'm going to place my hands on the floor and straighten my front leg by sitting back on my heel, and that's going to stretch out the hamstring in behind. The last thing that we're going to do is the disassociation plank, as I mentioned. So we're going to add a little bit of coordination in here. So we're going to be in a plank position. I'm going to bring my right knee to my left elbow. Once I've done that, then I'm going to bring my right hand up, but I'm going to try and not rotate my lower body. Okay, then same thing. My lower body moves without the use of my upper body, and then my upper body moves without the rotation of my lower body. The wider your feet are here, the easier it will become for you. All right, so 12 minutes straight of these exercises. In 10 seconds, we're gonna get started. Hopefully the time isn't blocked by my weights here. Let me move them for you. 3, 2, 1. Follow me, go faster or slower. It's up to you. Prayer squat. Push the knees out. Bootstrapper. Stand and roll. Again, deep breath. Prayer squat. And bootstrapper. Again, deep breath. I'm going actually pretty fast here. My knees are going out over my toes as I come down. So don't worry about keeping up with me. If you, this is as fast as you should be, this is the fastest you should be going. If you want to go a little bit slower, do it. Okay, in about 10 seconds, we're going to switch then to the world's greatest stretch, where we're reaching for the sky. Knee at the shoulder, reaching for the sky, elbow to instep, and then stretching the hamstring. Okay, let's do that together right now. So hands on the floor, knee into your shoulder, put that back knee down, stack the hands, reach up, come down to the instep of your foot, hands on the floor, and then sit back, stretching that hamstring. Back to the front. Get back, and switch legs now, knee to the floor. Stack all the weight onto your elbow, onto all your bones in your arm here, and then elbow down to your instep, and then sit back to stretch that hamstring. And switch sides. Rotate the hand, reach high and low, and get back. And now switch sides. Last time. I think I'll have time to do this. Up, down, back. Not that there's any rush. Let's now do the disassociation plank. So we're in our plank position. I've got my feet wide and cross body and open. Cross body and open. Notice how my knees are turning in towards my body, and my arms are rotating out away from my body. So I'm trying to disassociate the motion of my lower body and upper body. So just because my upper body is doing one thing, my lower body does not necessarily have to do the same thing. 15 seconds left here. All right, let's go back to that prayer squat and bootstrapper. Breathe in. Exhale, try and relax into these stretches here, into these movements. And roll. Elbows inside the knees, push it out. Stand and roll. Okay, 30 seconds left. I've only gotten two reps in, so hopefully you're not too much ahead of me, because we just want to make sure we're moving through the movement. We don't want to necessarily push our pace and go super fast. This is a different type of workout. And we'll call it low impact, but high intensity, because we're making sure we're focusing on moving properly the whole time. Next one, world's greatest stretch. This is minute number 5. Knee to shoulder. Reach. Stack the weight. Elbow down. Sit back. Stretching that hamstring. And we'll come forward. Switch sides. Knee to shoulder. Stack. Get down. Hands back in the center and switch sides. Reach up, down, and back, and forth. Switch. Up, down, back, and forth. And that's probably good enough for me, because we have about 3 seconds left. We're going to do disassociation plank. Let's do this, team. Knee to opposite hand, upper body, lower body, upper body. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure that it's just my lower body moving and then just my upper body moving. And relax. Let's go back to that bootstrapper prayer squat. Let's do this. Down. Oh yeah, that dorsiflexion helped. And roll. Inside the knees, under the toes. Stand and roll. We're rolling. This is an amazing stretch / workout for us here. So we're just trying to become a little bit more mobile. You'll be able to go through your day without worrying about being stiff or not being able to stand up or sit down properly. 3, 2, 1. Let's go to the world's greatest stretch. Knee in. Reach high, low with your elbow. Sit back and forth. Let's do the other side. Knee in. Reach high. Reach low with the elbow, sit back and forth. Switch sides. Knee in, reach high, elbow down, sit back and forth. Switch sides. Reach up and down and back and forth. And we've got the disassociation plank now for minute number 9. Okay, here we go. Let's do the disassociation plank. Across. Open up. 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 Cross. Open up. Separate the upper body motion, rotation, from the lower body. And I'm breathing. And I know you can hear me. All right, team, for the last round, let's go back. That prayer squat, bootstrapper movement. That disassociation plank gets hard after a while, doesn't it? We're putting kind of the hip and spine rotation mobility to the test there. And roll. 20 seconds left here, team. Happy to have you with me. All right, let's move on now to the world's greatest stretch. Let's see if we can get 4 reps in, especially because I'm starting a little bit late here. Knee, high, low, back, forth. Let's switch. High, low, back, forth. Switch. High, low, back, forth. High, low, back, and forth. I would be lying to you if I didn't say I was sweating right now. Let's get ready for the disassociation plank. Hope you guys are feeling it like I am. Let's go. Last minute here. And open up. Across. 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 Open up. Keep moving through here, team. Almost done. This last minute. And time. Team, thank you so much. I hope that these mobility drills and tricks and tips have helped you improve your dorsiflexion in your ankle and your hip mobility. And I hope that you got a little bit of a sweat going in the EMOM as well. All right, don't forget to check out calfconnection.ca/NCR for all of our content, not just mobility, but also higher intensity workouts in both official languages. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on those notifications so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Have an awesome day.